What's new on Grab It TV? Absolutely everything. We've got daily news shows, sports, weather, comedy, inspirational shows, fast cars, and a whole lot more. If you aren't watching Grab It TV, you're really missing out. It's free for you and free from censorship. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Hi, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to Week 17 in the National Football League. You are watching World of Matchups, and I am your host, Dexter Reed, coming to you live and direct from the Grab It television studios in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada, where we break down every single matchup in the NFL all season long till Super Bowl Sunday. To my right, I have super producer Spencer the Wiz. Spencer, say what's up to everybody, man.
Happy New Year's, everybody. And I just wanted to quickly say it's interesting. You know, we've been doing this show. It's kind of like the first year. We're going into 2022. And it's cool that the people who are watching now will be getting in, you know, at the ground floor of all this. Because, I mean, this show is just like, it's such a great show, you know. It's so fun. Obviously, we enjoy doing it because we do it every week. But I just think it's going to be really cool when the show grows. And there's going to be those people who are like, I was there, you know, when the show started. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Building something from the ground up, there's nothing better. And like Spencer said, to kind of piggyback that, like one of the best times I have every week is sitting in this chair, bringing it to you guys. So with no further ado, there's a lot happening in the National Football League, and we need to talk about it. So let's start with the quick hitters. There's been no football on all week. I know you guys are jonesing for it, so let's roll. First, ESPN's Mr. Adam Schefter, the GOAT of reporting, reports that the NFL and the NFLPA adopted new CDC guidelines, that reduced the quarantine time to 5 days from 10 days for all players, including those who are unvaccinated. Now, is there any surprise behind this? They saw an opportunity and they jumped on it. The CDC comes out with this information and everyone's like, well, the CDC said it is so it's so. So it just gives players an easier out to get back on the field, which keeps the money train going, which keeps the games going. It's all about the money. Follow the money, you'll get the answers. Roger Goodell saw this and was like, we are doing this. The bottom line is, I'm not saying they don't care about the players, but I'm not necessarily saying that they do. They want these guys on the field at all costs. I said to my friend Rob the Raider the other day, they might as well just let these guys play sick.
It's not their number one goal. It's not player safety. It's one of their goals, and it's not their main goal.
It's not, but they'll front like it is.
Sure.
You know, with the concussion protocols and how they handle quarterbacks. Look, they may take care of quarterbacks, but they're not taking care of everybody on that field. CTE is real, and the COVID protocol is real, and I get all that, but they're going to bob and weave every which way they possibly can to make sure the product is on the field. At the end of the day, the game is the game. Next, the Akron Beacon reports that the Browns are likely to bring in competition for Baker Mayfield in 2022. Duh. I don't even know why they're bringing in competition, Spencer. They need to just get rid of this guy outright.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield is a scrub.
We talked about Gardner Minshew before the show. Cheap option. If they really truly want to label it as competition,
Give
I
up
think
a
they bring in Gardner.
5th-round pick and a pepperoni pizza and get Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew on Cleveland would be fire. He'd be no worse than Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is now the most overrated player in the National Football League. He is horrific. He is not accurate. Balls are constantly going to the other team. And let's face it. This guy has all these endorsements. He's making all these commercials. Have we ever seen a worse athlete get endorsements like Baker Mayfield? I'm so overseeing this guy in Cleveland. And I think the thing that hurts the most, Spencer, is that when you look at the Cleveland Browns roster from top to bottom, they are loaded.
They're insane.
They're loaded. They got weapons everywhere. They got everything you need to win a Super Bowl And Baker Mayfield can't even get him to the playoffs.
Not even Sam Bradford got like the State Farm, deal like this guy did.
I'm over it, man, and I'm going to roast him some more later, so I'm going to get off him right now.
Baker coming in hot, looking a little gas from the stairs.
It's like 7 a.m. Maybe pump the brakes a little bit.
Next, Sean McVay said that there is a good possibility that Cam Akers plays this week against the Ravens. Akers suffered a torn ACL in July. Now, either this guy knows something that the rest of us don't, or he was built in a lab. Torn ACLs, what's the timetable, Spencer? A year?
I think this
Minimum?
guy went to the same Himalayan mountains that Jabari Parker did when he tore his ACL. It's a true story, by the way.
Like, what is this, like the Fountain of Youth, this guy? What is this, like Cocoon where he dove in the pool and was healed? He suffered this in July. Dude, it's January, and he's playing? That is an unbelievable story, especially if he actually comes back and looks half of what he was before. I tend to think that this is careless, but they know more than I do because they're the ones seeing this guy in practice. But man, 6 months removed from a torn ACL to be back on the field is a story to follow. Next, Jimmy Garoppolo has been diagnosed with a torn UCL and a fractured bone in his right throwing thumb. Fire up Trey Lance if he can't go this week. Who are we kidding? He can't go this week, okay? And at this point, I'd fire up Trey Lance anyway. And I like Jimmy G. I'm a Jimmy G supporter, but boy, he's been looking bad with some of the throws he's making. Now, maybe he's been hurt, quietly on the low and not saying anything. But any way you look at it, you can't start this guy this week, especially if you're fighting for a playoff spot. Let him heal. Let's see what Trey Lance is about. You spent the pick on this guy, albeit I think it was the wrong pick. You got the Houston Texans coming to town. They're not that good. This is the time to let this guy rest. Next, Mr. Miles Sanders is out this week with a broken hand. I like Miles Sanders a lot, but Miles Sanders to me is the Jacoby Myers of running backs. Puts up stats, never scores. I think that they have enough with Gainwell, Boston Scott, Jordan Howard. I don't think the Eagles are going anywhere, but the bottom line is that Nick Sirianni has been playing these guys well, and he's trying to save his job. This is a team that always has like 15 running backs. You're not going to see Miles Sanders to next year, and rightfully so. Next, Jared Goff, G-O to the double F, has been activated from the reserve COVID-19 list, but he is questionable now to start versus Seattle. He has got a knee issue that suffered from the last game he played, so it's just been a litany of problems for Jared Goff. Jared Goff is not a good quarterback. He never has been a good quarterback. Sean McVay did everything he possibly could to get everything he could get out of Jared Goff, and it looks like his season may be over. Fire up Tim Blow. I still think the Lions are beating Seattle this week.
Dan Campbell says that Jared Goff still might be their long-term solution at quarterback. He said that this week.
Dan Campbell needs to have his head examined. Next, COVID-19 protocols are still claiming players, okay? No one's safe. Some notable names are Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is going to come back this week if he passes the drop-dead date on Saturday. Julio Jones, Dan Arnold, Chris Harris, Josh Reynolds, Shaq Thompson, Marlon Mack has been activated. Carson Wentz, pull and pray with Carson Wentz. If he passes the protocol Sunday morning, he is going to play. Tampa Bay head coach Bruce Arians, and just announced Kirk Cousins and Antonio Gibson. Kirk Cousins is unvaccinated. This is a huge letdown for the Minnesota Vikings. It really is. Your franchise quarterback, unvaccinated. You had a shot at making the playoffs, all being like a 1% shot, and now he's done for the year. I don't know how I really feel about this. What do you think, Spence?
I don't know, man. It's a weird question because of it's a personal choice to get vaccinated. But if you are unvaccinated, at the very least, you should be locking yourself down where nobody can touch you. You know what I mean? I know you can get it. Someone in the QB room may have got it. Whatever hopefully, however he got it. But you would hope he wasn't going out and doing something to get COVID because that would be extremely irresponsible.
Yeah, and I don't think that's the case. Kirk doesn't seem like that kind of a dude. I mean, he really tries to be a franchise QB, and it just sucks because he was really having a good year. The Omicron variant, man, I've been studying about this. I mean, you could look at somebody and basically get it. So And it just kind of sucks. And like you said, I don't ever want to tell somebody to get the jab or not get the jab. But for me, if I'm a front office person in the Vikings organization, I'm feeling kind of disappointed at this point, especially heading to Green Bay. A lot of people think that they were going to get murdered this week. I think they would have had a shot with Kirk Cousins to win that game. Green Bay almost lost to Cleveland, and we'll talk about that in a second here. Next. Jags running back James Robinson tore his ACL in the first quarter on Sunday and will be out for the remainder of the year. It's a huge blow to a team that was going nowhere. They draft Travis Etienne, start the season, boom, tears his ACL. Now James Robinson to end the season, boom, tears his ACL. I swear, the curse of Urban Meyer is going to reside in Jacksonville for years to come. It just goes to show you, I really believe in stuff like this. When you get a guy in that just ruins the culture of any up-and-coming team like this, the effects sometimes can be lasting through like season or seasons. Get well, James Robinson. Sucks for those fantasy managers that needed you this week.
There's one thing I think there is truth to that. I don't know if you believe in superstition, but the Ford family bought the Lions the day that JFK was assassinated. They signed the contract the day that our president was assassinated. The guy who sold it to them wanted to wait, obviously, because of the event, and the Ford family said, "Nope, sign the contract today," and that's what happened. I feel like it's a curse.
It's a factory of sadness ever since, and they've had some stud players: Megatron, Barry Sanders. Dear God, this one hurt my heart, man. We're going to spend some time talking about this. Hall of Fame head coach and broadcaster John Madden passes away at 85 years of age this Tuesday morning. Now, look, first things first, let's have a moment of silence here at World of Matchups, man. So anything that you can think of National Football League that has had any amazing, great effect in being a productive part of what the league has done, I guess, for the last however many years, 50 years, you could trace back to John Madden. You can trace that Raiders Super Bowl back to John Madden. You can trace the Madden bus back to John Madden. John Madden, Pat Summerall. I remember being in my pajamas watching these guys as a kid. Some of the best commentary you're ever going to find. And then the prototypical best thing that could have ever happened to video games is Madden football. Guys don't go play their Xbox. They go play Madden. They don't play their PS5. They play Madden. Madden is a brand. It's an icon. And if you're not distraught by this, you're not a real football fan. This is like the loss of a family member. And World of Matchups is definitely going to do something moving forward consistently to honor his name. Lots of love goes out to his family. I know there's a lot of people in the NFL who are really touched by this. People are saving tweets and texts and having them framed. I mean, John Madden is when you just think of OG football, John Madden's name has to be the first that comes up. And so my heart is broken for the National Football League. We lost a true soldier, and may he rest in peace. Any parting shots, any closing thoughts on him, Spence?
Well, obviously, as a Raiders fan, pretty close to not close to the family, but you know what I mean, like very dear to us. And, rest in peace, John Madden. Never be forgotten. When you look up the definition of a football guy, man, that is John Madden. Anytime you talked, you knew exactly, that was him. That was his identity. He loved the game.
Yeah, just go look up John Madden football quotes. Some of the things that he said, some of them only he could get away with saying because some of them made no sense. But when you think about how he said it, it made perfect sense.
Somebody threw a shoe. There's a pigeon on the field. How did he get in there?
Well, he wanted to get down there. He couldn't get a seat. He tried to get up above, and there was no place. The only place there was only that he could land is right there.
He was in the middle of the action. I thought the shoe came off.
The guy is an absolute football god, and I hope he rests easy, man. Shouts out from World of Matchups to his family. Next, for the first time in 392 games as the Patriots head coach, Bill Belichick led a team that failed to force a punt. That is absolutely astounding to me. Wow.
I think what's even more astounding, just really quickly, is the Bills, like just as a team, because they were down and out, and that's the great thing about football. Even I thought they were down and out. They looked terrible in the middle of the season.
The biggest yo-yo in the NFL this year has been the Buffalo Bills.
But now they're getting hot at the right time, and what do you know? The Bills look like they're primed for a good playoff run. Unbelievable.
You know, going to Kansas City, punch them in the mouth, lose to the Jags, lose at home, get 5 touchdowns on you from Jonathan Taylor, lose the Tundra Bowl to the Patriots, falling apart at the seams, come back last week and drop this stat on the Patriots. And let's be honest here. They beat the Patriots up in this game. The Patriots didn't just lose this game. The Patriots got punched in the mouth. The Bills beat teams up on the road and don't play well at home. They're an interesting team to watch when they get in the playoffs, especially where they're going to have to go. Next, Lamar Jackson returns to practice on Wednesday and is questionable to play on Sunday. Folks, he's not playing. Okay? He practiced once, then he was missing in action for the part of practice on Wednesday that was viewable by the public. Like he's done. Lamar Jackson is not going to probably play again this year. I'd be shocked. He's limping around. Why mess with your franchise, especially if you think you're going to pay this guy, which I have gone on record to say that I would, but now I have flopped and flipped and said that I would not pay this guy. I would not pay him what the market price for him is going to be, and I wouldn't pay Baker Mayfield either. There are quarterbacks available. Gardner Minshew's just one name. I think Tyler Huntley's every bit as good as Lamar. And he's going to start this week. Folks, mark my word. Watch this game versus the Rams. Tyler Huntley is a G, and he's going to play well. He played well versus the Packers. I think they're making a mistake with Lamar, especially if they've pushed this guy out there to play, and he's not ready. Next, Adam Thielen had season-ending surgery on his ankle on Tuesday and is done for the year. Adam Thielen's a G. You know, the white Chris Carter. What can you say? You know, all this guy has done is score touchdowns for the Vikings. It's a huge loss for them, especially now that they don't have a quarterback either. Vikings season's probably going to end on Sunday. Heal up, rest up. I'm kind of like, I think this might be it for Thielen as being real viable, especially in fantasy. He'll still be good, but on the other side of 30, coming off injuries, I don't know. It's time to really fire up Justin Jefferson, maybe even get somebody else to help him on the other side of the ball. All right, that's it for the quick hitters, folks. Before we move into our favorite part of the show, let's let you know something in case you didn't already know. We're everywhere on social media, okay? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. We have our own YouTube page where you can you can subscribe. All the information will come your way when you do so. You can go to grabit.com and sign up for Grabit Television. Grabit is free. 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 And there's a whole bunch of content on Grabit besides sports, there's politics, there's amazing shows. If you sign up, and it is free, when we drop the show, you will get notifications as well. Don't get left out in the cold wishing you had information that is readily available to you because you're not checking us out on social media. Now, it's time to roast the refs. Sponsored by Heroes Heating and Air. Check out heroesheatingandair.com for all your service needs. Medford, Oregon. These are good people. Merry Christmas to you guys out there. Thanks for sponsoring us. We're coming back in 2 seconds, and we're going to light these guys up.
Quarterback arm.
No, God! No, God, please,
Pass is incomplete. No flag.
No!
All right, everybody. You know why we're here. Week in and week out, the refs just continue to disappoint in the National Football League and just show how bad they truly are. This week might be the worst couple clips that we were able to pull from the National Football League all year long. Looking like the Bird Box Challenge is happening out there on the field. Let's get these refs. Number 1, check this out. My goodness. How is this not pass interference in the National Football League? This was not called in Seattle. This was not called. Can somebody tell me how? This is worse than when the Saints got jobbed out of going to the Super Bowl. My goodness. How? I mean, this is a bear hug. This fits exactly the lay of the law for what pass interference is. The defender had his back turned. He's all over the guy. What, did they just not have their flags at that moment? That is got to be the worst non-pass interference call I've seen all year, Spencer.
The best part of the replay for me is when the guy's his hands go up after. He's like,
dude, what do you mean? What's that?
Come on, man.
Dude. I need a new whistle just for that play. But wait, there's more. Next. Gee whiz, man. Can somebody tell me how that's not taunting right in front of the ref? Right in front of the ref. The flag for taunting in the NFL this season has been thrown for so much less. How is that? Now, you might tell me that there's some camaraderie going on there. To me, that's taunting. If CEH can point at a guy, that's taunting. They throw flags for taunting, for pointing, but guys do backflips, acrobatics, go to the other side of the field, curse out the coach. It shouldn't be called the taunting penalty. It should be the pointing penalty.
Why do we have taunting penalties in the first place?
It's freaking ridiculous.
It's a game.
Come on.
It's a game.
These guys are entertainers. Let them entertain us. The ref, 52. Find out who 52 is. I want to send a letter to that guy's house. That's your homework, Spencer. Find out who that guy is, because we're going to roast this guy mercilessly. Next. Oy, oy, oy. Man, it just goes from bad to worse. How is that taunting? Kansas City, Pittsburgh. Kansas City is blowing Pittsburgh out. Guy makes a catch. Says something to the guy. To me, it just looks like regular old camaraderie. You know what I mean? Like, well, how is that taunting? How is that taunting? Come on. Let these guys play.
This is it is a bad call, I agree, but it seems to be the epitome of the Steelers season. They're losing 30-0, and the guy's like talking smack.
But who knows what the guy said, man? Even if he's talking a little smack there, man, run it again. I mean, it's like bang, bang, so quick. He catches the ball, he gets up. You know what I mean? Steve probably was like, a nice catch. You know what I mean? Like, boom. You can't even talk to each other anymore. It's outrageous how bad these calls are this year. Next. This is the one that just gets my goat. Just roll it repeatedly here, Spencer. Saturday afternoon, Packers are blowing out Cleveland, and of course, their Swiss cheese defense lets Cleveland back in the game. Cleveland is driving, okay? And I think if this is called, Cleveland finds a way to win this game despite 4 picks from Baker Mayfield. Can somebody tell me how that is not pass interference? He is tugging on the player's jersey. How? This is the kind of stuff that bothers me about the National Football League, because it makes it so obvious that it's scripted. They're going to push the Packers into the Super Bowl with stuff like that. They do it for Tom Brady, too. And I'm no lover of Baker Mayfield. He's probably my least favorite player in the entire league. But come on, man. That's a penalty there. You call nonsense for less all year long in a big spot where they have come all the way back from that suspect defense. They deserve a shot to go try and win the game. Shame on you, refs. Shame on you, Roger Goodell. Gas face goes out to all of you. This is one of the worst episodes of Roast the Ref I've had to do this year, and I am so sick to death on it. Shame on you. I cannot wait to roast you next week, because I know you're going to do something stupid this week. And that's all I got to say about that.
That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Oh, thank you for putting up with my little rants and my little tantrums. This roast the ref thing just boils my blood every single week. And I've been saying this all week, and I'm going to keep saying it. There's going to be a call that happens in this year's playoffs that's going to be egregious in nature, that's going to keep a team from winning a game. It's going to force Roger Goodell and the NFL to go back to the drawing board and fix these problems. All right, mailbag Q&A. This is the time of the show where we talk about what you want to talk about, okay? Coming to you live and direct from Long Island, New York, Mr. Dan O'Brien says, did the quality of the NFL product suffer this week from pushing the games to be played this past week? I think they did. I mean, I get that they have to get the games in. I understand that. But I think they could have taken a page out of what some of the other sports are doing. I mean, I like that hockey took a pause. I really do. You know, especially if I'm paying to go to a game. I want to see the stars. I want to see a good product. I mean, Tyreek Hill was gassed. You know, the guys are coming off a week's worth of COVID and being forced to play. And then you're seeing a lot of scrub guys who would never play. It's watered-down product, and they're not having a whole ton of time to play. There was games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know what I mean? There was a game every week, which is not a good look for the NFL. I mean, it's good for us because we have something to look forward to, but I would rather have games played on Sunday, Monday, and Thursday only with the right product. So, yeah, I think it was kind of watered down. The Arizona game on Saturday versus the Colts, to me, was boring as hell. COVID's ravaging the NFL. But like I said, the NFL, that money's going to get printed. That freight train's not going to stop for anybody unless someone dies. And John Madden just died, and I'd be surprised if they even flew the flags at half-mast in the NFL. But that's a whole nother story. I mean, you know how I feel about Roger Goodell. End of rant. Next. AG Magic, Las Vegas, my homeboy. Why were the COVID protocols changed to accommodate teams when it was clear in the rule book that if a team had a mouse outbreak, that they would need to forfeit before the NFL would reschedule the games? Well, that's what it was. That's what it was, Alex. Okay? But like I mentioned earlier in the quick hitters, Roger Goodell sees an opportunity, and he's going to take an opportunity. Look, they're pimping COVID the same way the government pimped 9/11 to go to Iraq. I'll never back off this. If there's an opportunity to get guys back on the field faster, they're going to do it. We don't care that he's halfway sick. We don't care that he's still probably, a false positive or maybe even has COVID. I mean, you could get a false positive for having it, but you probably could get a false positive for not having it. And you're out there breathing on dudes, hugging on dudes, jersey swaps. Folks, follow the money. The game is the game. Roger Goodell is a dictator. He is the white Don King. And as long as he is in there, he is going to do whatever he can do to keep it moving. And that's just how it goes. We may not like it, but we have no power over it. If you don't like it, you can boycott. You cannot watch, Kaepernick style. Next. This was a question I wanted to throw in there because I think this really needs to be talked about. Discuss who the HC opening should go to for the Jacksonville Jaguars job. Now, there's all of a sudden this week been a lot of names been thrown out. You know what I mean? Todd Bowles has been thrown out. Byron Leftwich has been thrown out. I like Doug Peterson as an opportunity for him to go back into, getting a head coaching position. Eric Bieniemy, Dan Quinn. Shad Khan is ready to talk to everyone. His season ended when James Robinson tore that ACL. He's like, I've had enough bad news for one season long. COVID is like a good thing to Jacksonville. That's how much bad news they're like Raiders South. You know what I mean? The Raiders and Jags have had enough drama to have a NFL soap opera. You know what I mean? You want to do like that show? You want to watch that show? It's been that bad. All right? Look. I personally think it should be Doug Peterson. The guy has won a Super Bowl. The guy did well with a guy like Wentz. You know what I mean? Trevor Lawrence is a similar kind of quarterback. He's well respected around the league. I think he could build that thing up. Who do you like to go there?
My dark horse candidate is Dennis Allen, former Raiders head coach. At the time, he was the youngest head coach in the NFL. He's been a great defensive coordinator for the Saints. Had that game where he was the head coach and he won. He coached a shutout. I know he didn't play in the field, but still he was the acting head coach. He had a good game plan. They went in there and they executed the best they could with the personnel that they have. I think it's ready. I think that they need another shot. He's as clean gets. He's a very traditional dude, so that's who I like.
Yeah, and this is my dark horse. Pardon the pun, but I really think Jim Caldwell would be good there. Jim Caldwell got a raw deal in Detroit. A raw deal, like salmonella chicken. And I think he'd be really good to come back and give it a shot. He's already had a history and somewhat turning around a lousy culture. And he is a good dude. And he's definitely a guy who's not so much a stickler, but the X's and O's, they get looked at. I think he deserves another shot, if not there, somewhere else in the National Football League. All right, let's get down to why we're here. Game previews, okay? Week 16, I had my best week after having my best week last week. 13-3 last week. 151, 88-1 on the season, okay? Not doing bad at all. Straight winners, Sundays, Mondays, against the spread, Thursdays. World of Matchups is picking winners at a pretty high rate all year long. Early game Sunday. Let's start with the Dolphins at the Titans. Titans played well enough versus San Francisco to get a much-needed win, okay? A.J. Brown looked great, and he should continue to be a factor for the Titans for the rest of the season. The Dolphins, they did just enough to beat a COVID and injury-riddled Saints team on Monday Night Football. Now, Tua should have his hands full versus a Titan defense that, to me, is very underrated. Okay? Despite the emergence of Jalen Waddle, Ryan Tannehill should have a decent day in the air and on the ground. I like Ryan Tannehill because he runs. I like a quarterback that will put it on the line and take off for a touchdown. And I like Mike Vrabel a lot, too. Look, they're going to do enough to get this win at home. And the Titans, they're really holding out hope for Derrick Henry. If they get Derrick Henry back and COVID leaves them alone and they are really limiting the injuries, now you're looking at the Titan team that went to the playoffs last year with a coach who's got stones. Look, in the meantime, they're going to continue to grind out these wins. Miami's win streak consists mostly of tomato cans and bad quarterbacks and teams that were stricken by COVID. There's always been some reason why they won. I think the only decent team they beat during that streak was the Baltimore Ravens. All the rest of them are horrible teams. The pick, touchdown Titans. Next, Falcons at the Bills. The Bills won a game that they absolutely had to have versus New England. They are now home and on a mission to win the division after playing poorly for the better part of December. Josh Allen is a man on a mission. The Atlanta defense here is going to have their hands full trying to slow him and Stephon Diggs down. Okay? X-Factor Isaiah McKenzie, who flashed last week, should also be involved enough to make a difference in the outcome. And they're getting Cole Beasley back. They're getting a couple guys back this week off the COVID protocol. They're going to be full strength. Okay? Gabriel Davis, he's been removed. Look, all arrows are pointing up for Buffalo, who looked like they were circling their toilet 2 weeks ago. Just like Spencer said, up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, if you get them on an up day, they can go to the Super Bowl. If you get them on a down day, they're going to miss the playoffs. Now, Atlanta and Matt Ryan has played a lot better than I expected them to play this year. They really have. And Cordell Patterson, Russell Gage, Kyle Pitts, they can keep it close for a time. But I think in the end, the Bills and that defense will come up big, giving them the win at home. I just don't trust Atlanta on the road. It's a huge spread. I think they get their doors blown off. The pick, no one circles the wagons like the Bills. Next, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the New England Patriots. The Pats lost at home in a hotly contested game, and they are now clinging to a playoff spot. There should be zero reason they lose this game to a bad Jacksonville team, minus all their stars. Okay? New England's going to run the ball down the throats of that Jags defense. Ramondre Stevenson should be back. Damon Harrison should be a factor if he's 100%. Mac Jones won't have to do too much in this game. And Double B owns rookie quarterbacks in his building. This is an absolute lock. But everyone knew that because the Jags are horrible. The Pats D is going to tee off on Trevor Lawrence. And the Jags will get smashed. Especially without injured James Robinson. The pick, the New England Patriots in a blowout. Next. The Raiders at the Colts. Raiders have won 2 ugly games in a row, and now they head to Indianapolis to face a very hot Colts team. With the newest addition to the COVID protocol in place, expect Colts to try to push Carson Wentz back out there. Okay? They want him out there. There will be a huge Jonathan Taylor game on the ground this week. All right, and I expect the Colts to try to eat the clock and grind this one out, and it's clear that they just don't trust Wentz. Wentz is going to throw 5 passes. That's who they are. They want to win on the ground, play good defense. Darius Leonard is back. They don't trust Wentz, and it's obvious, and that's okay. They won't really need him. The Raiders will use Josh Jacobs as their bell cow and will throw lots of short passes to Cooper Kupp 2.0, Mr. Hunter Renfrow, to move the chains. And I fully expect the Raiders to keep this game close because this is what they do. They always play well away from home in these kind of games. Look at the Dallas game. This is a game no one thought they were going to win. This is a game no one thinks they're going to win. Watch them potentially maybe even win this game. At least cover. I love the Raiders to cover, but I don't think they're going to win this week, okay? Ultimately, the Colts defense will be the difference maker, and Derek Carr. We know what Derek Carr does. The Colts need this win to get in the playoffs, and they won't blow it. Definitely not at home in front of their fans at Lucas Oil Stadium. The pick, the Indianapolis Colts. Next, the Buccaneers at the Jets, Jets. This will be nothing more than a tune-up for Tampa. Despite all their injuries and COVID issues, the Bucs simply have too much firepower for the Jets to handle. Zach Wilson impressed with his mobility last week during the win at home, and the Jets look serviceable for once in that win. Now, I expect the Tampa Bay defense to shut all that down and leave the Jets absolutely scrambling like the house is on fire. Look, expect Antonio Brown to play well as the lead wide receiver and try to hit some of the incentives that are in his contract over the last few games to get that money he lost when he was out with the COVID forgery nonsense. Rojo will control the ground game, and the Bucs should win going away, okay? The GOAT owns the Jets. Tom Brady owns the Jets. There's not a bigger owning in national football history than Tom Brady owning the Jets, okay? And he is going to destroy them. They're going to win going away. This week will be no different. The pick is very easily the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next, Rams at the Ravens. Ravens are running on fumes and have been all season long. They simply have too many COVID issues and injuries to compete at a high level moving forward. Despite their record, they are not a good team, as was witnessed last week versus Cincinnati. Now, I want to give them a break. COVID struck, and Cincinnati can blow it up on anybody, but they look terrible, okay? Lamar Jackson is questionable to play, but I don't think it will make a difference here either way. We all know he's not going to play. I'll be shocked if they force him out there. I mean, that's a fireable offense if you force him to play. Tyler Huntley is more than serviceable. He'll be out there, and he will make some noise. Mark Andrews has been the lone bright spot for Baltimore, so you expect L.A. to focus on him and force Baltimore to try to win another way, okay? Stafford, Kupp, Odell, and can we start with the Odell apology tour? I told everybody Cleveland's the worst spot for this guy to go. Some of you guys owe Odell Beckham Jr. some flowers. His dad was 100% right about Baker. Odell is still really, really good. He's scored like every game since he's been traded. He's a great player, but he's not a winner. Not yet. Look, they're going to be too much for the Ravens to handle. That secondary is in shambles. And I expect the Ravens to be trailing all game long, which will take away their run game. And then in comes Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald running fools down to clean up on defense. And this is going to be the end for the Ravens. Even if they make the playoffs, they're one and done. Write it down. Take out a third, fourth, fifth mortgage. Break your piggy bank. That Ravens team is doing nothing in the playoffs, with or without Lamar. The pick, the Rams. Next, the Eagles at the Washington football team. Boy, the Washington football team took the biggest beating of the year in the National Football League versus Dallas, and now they limp home to play the Eagles, who are fresh off a beatdown of the hapless Giants. The Washington football team is getting healthy, and most of their COVID players should be back and ready to play. This game will rest on the shoulders of Taylor Heineke, who's not a good quarterback, okay? The Eagles and Jalen Hurts are playing well, and I expect them to smash Washington. Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith, Boston Scott, they got players, okay? Gainwell will be out there. Jordan Howard is questionable. Looks like he's going to play with half a neck. They're all going to have big days. And Eagles defense will force Washington into errors. Antonio Gibson is out on the COVID protocol now. mentioned this morning, so it's all Scary Terry, who's going to have more than a handful of catches to stand a chance, and he's boom or bust. This is an absolute lock. Losing Ryan Fitzpatrick killed this team. Their season is over, and this will be the nail in the coffin. The pick, fly, Eagles, fly. Next, Giants at the Bears. The Bears.
The Bears. The Bears.
I took the Bears as my upset special last week, and they showed up. I loved that last drive to stick it to the frickin' Seahawks, who suck. They are home this week and taking on the laughingstock of the NFL in the New York Giants. Now, I don't care what anyone says. The Bears have talent, man. They just need better coaching. Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney, David Montgomery. They're going to get rid of A-Rob and get something for him. They're in good shape. They're all solid players. Now, back that up with a decent defense, and I don't see any way the Giants win this game with the likes of guys like Mike Glennon and Jake from State From being their quarterbacks. Okay? Those guys leading the charge, you already know they're in trouble. Saquon Barkley will once again be a non-factor, and nobody's wide receiver room in the entire NFL has been more injured than Big Blue. Stick a fork in them, they're done, burn it down. You know it's a bad scene when you outshine the cluelessness of Matt Nagy, who will be fired at year's end. The pick, the Bears. All right, folks, that's the early games. I'm feeling good over here. I'm fired up. The blood is pumping. I love the National Football League. I love doing this for you guys. We're going to take a commercial break. We are going to come back, and we are going to talk about our player to watch. This week's player to watch is none other than stud wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, Mr. T. Higgins. My name is Dexter Reed. You've been watching World of Matchups. See you on the flip. Heroes Heating and Air are HVAC experts with great customer service and an unbeatable price point. They are certified Rheem heating and air conditioning equipment dealers in the Southern Oregon area, including Medford, Grants Pass, and Ashland. They offer free bids and estimates, 24-hour repair service, new installation and replacements, attractive maintenance agreements, and a senior citizen special with home efficiency replacements. Check them out online at heroesheatingandair.com or call 541-821-1615. Welcome back to World of Matchups. Before we continue, let's pay some bills. Are you looking to buy or sell your home in Las Vegas or Henderson, Nevada? Alex Gannum with Vegas Strong Real Estate Group, a brokerage with a cause, can assist you in achieving all your real estate needs. With 15-plus years of experience, Alex Gannum is a recipient of several client service awards, along with a top-notch selling and buying technique to get you the most for your home and the best value for your new purchase. Call Alex Gannum at Vegas Strong Real Estate Group today at 702-786-4553. Again, that is 702-786-4553. Vegas Strong Real Estate Group. They are one city, one brokerage, one dream. All right, folks, welcome back to the show. It is the time of the show where we break down some film and talk about players on the come-up. This week's player to watch is none other than the Clemson product, Mr. T. Higgins. Drafted last year, second round, pick number 33. The Cincinnati Bengals absolutely got it right with this guy. 6'4", 215. What can't he do? Especially since he's surrounded by Joe Mixon. He's surrounded by Jamar Chase. He's got a great offensive coordinator and a big stud quarterback in Joe Burrow who can get him the ball. 50-50 balls are all his. I see a little Randy Moss in him. He's fast. He can stretch the field. And if you look at how he runs these routes, these DBs are on ice skates. He's got guys looking like they are breakdancing back there. This guy is going to be the front end of the Cincinnati Bengal offense for at least the next 5 years at a very high level. And at any time, he can blow right by you and he can muscle you. If he puts on another 10 pounds of muscle, you're looking at a guy that could resemble a little Randy Moss and T. Owens. Last week, he absolutely torched the Ravens secondary, albeit in a COVID secondary. He still went out there and did it. This guy's a freight train and a player to watch. Kansas City's going to have their hands full with this guy this week, and I hope they're ready. On behalf of Grab It Television, Spencer the Wiz to my right, the Vegas Strong Real Estate Group player to watch this week is Mr. T. Higgins. All right, folks. Time to do what we do. Let's get back to the breakdown. Late games on Sunday. Broncos at Chargers. What a bunch of frauds the Chargers are. My God. How do you lose to the lowly Texans? I know that they're missing a lot of key players, but that's a win the Chargers and Justin Herbert absolutely have to make sure that they go out and get. The Broncos suck bad, and Drew Lock is horrible.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Horrible despite getting no help from his receivers last week. They should still have beaten Las Vegas, okay? I expect this game to be close as the Denver defense is stout, but in the end, having a healthy Austin Eckler out there will be a difference maker. While older Keenan Allen is, he's still a G. The guy's a baller. The Chargers are clinging to the hopes of a playoff spot, so I see them winning this one. Very close game. The AFC West is a fight every week. The Broncos simply don't have the quarterback play needed to win this kind of a game. It's just that simple. If the Broncos had a half-decent quarterback, they would be on their way to the playoffs. Javonte Williams should eat. Melvin Gordon, they should eat. This is going to be a bounce-back win for LA despite all that. The pick, the San Diego Superchargers. Next, Texans at the 49ers. I just cannot take the Texans to win this game in good conscience. I know they beat LA, but them winning 2 games in a row, it's a tough ask. Okay? San Francisco and Jimmy G lost a nail-biter last Thursday to the Titans, and their playoff hopes rest on this game. Now, Trey Lance may start due to Jimmy G's hand injury, and Elijah Mitchell is questionable. He hasn't played in weeks, but he might get on the field. I say just give Deebo Samuel the ball and get out of the way. Davis Mills is not a good quarterback despite people trying to hype him up, and Brandon Cooks will play, but he will be their only real shot of winning on the road here. He's their only real threat. I don't trust anyone in that backfield. They're in trouble here. I expect that Niner defense to eat. I expect them to control the line of scrimmage. No team in the NFL this week can not afford to lose more than the San Francisco 49ers. This will be a coming out party for Trey Lance, and Shanahan will easily outcoach David Culley. The pick here is the San Francisco 49ers, and they are my best bet. Let's roll. Cardinals at the boys. Let me tell y'all something. It's time for y'all to start putting some respect on the Dallas Cowboys as a potential opportunity for this team to go to the Super Bowl. I keep telling you that the Cardinals are done. This is not a Super Bowl caliber team. And this is not a team that will be more than one. There will be nothing more than one and done in the playoffs. The Cowboys are coming off a destruction of the Washington football team and in limps Arizona. James Conner's hurt, but he may play. No DeAndre Hopkins. The defense can't stop the ground game at all. All this spells doom on the road. Kyler Murray will be running for his life on Sunday. Dak, CeeDee, Amari, Dalton, Zeke, Tony, and this defense will eat like it's Thanksgiving. Look, like I said, it's time to consider the Cowboys coming out of the NFC. They're right there with the Rams. No one can talk me off that. All right? They're going up while everyone else is struggling with injuries and COVID. My only concern is their coaching. I just don't trust Mike McCarthy. I don't trust Mike McCarthy to deliver my pizza. All right? This will be an easy win for Dallas. Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs are truly this year's difference makers in the National Football League. They'll pick America's team. Next, Lions at the Seahawks. Guess what, folks? It's upset special time.
It's free real estate.
Again, I'm doubling down and betting against the Seattle Seahawks. I love the Lions this week more than I loved the Bears last week. The Seahawks are a beaten team with zero fire, and Russell Wilson looks like he needs to see a therapist. Look, Jared Goff is doubtful with a knee injury, so fire up Tim Blau. I don't care who the quarterback is in this game. they're going to need to just do enough. They're going to steal this win, just like the Bears stole it late last week. Amara St. Brown has been on fire. DeAndre Swift, the handcuffs are off. Scheduled to return, and Dan Campbell has taken over the play calling and said he is going to turn that boy loose. DeAndre Swift is a stud. Spencer, no one gives this guy respect.
No, I'm a big fan of this guy, man. Even
Baller.
his rookie season, he's one of my favorite players.
I wish he was wearing the ketchup and mustard. The Chiefs missed on him. Imagine DeAndre Swift in the Chiefs' backfield right now. That's a big swing and miss. You guys can keep CEH. Now, DK Metcalf is a bust, and Tyler Lockett is beyond Jekyll and Hyde. Seattle will leave the door open to lose yet again, and I'm taking the Motor City to run a Ford through the 12th man. Pete Carroll needs to be fired before I eat another meal. Russell Wilson deserves better. I hope he's a Steeler. I hope he's a Saint. There's so many places you can go, Russell. Pack Sierra and the kids up. Don't play yourself. Seattle don't love you like they think, that they're telling you they do. The pick. I'm taking the Lions with a set of balls to go with it. Next, Panthers at the Saints. After both teams stunk up the joint last week, I expect the Saints to bounce back as long as Taysom Hill plays, and I think he's going to play. The Saints' defense should have a better showing as long as they can get some help from the offense. Alvin Kamara, Marquez Callaway should be the difference makers versus a Carolina team with nothing to play for but pride. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, they're being absolutely wasted. They're being wasted just as bad as the receivers in Denver are being wasted. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, it's kind of that same situation. Why? Because the quarterback play stinks. Look, this week's starter is Sam Darnold, but they might mix in Scam Newton. It doesn't matter, okay? It's pull and pray. The results should be the same no matter who is quarterback. This is going to be an ugly game that will need good special teams play to secure a victory for either side. Sean Payton will scheme for Carolina much better than he did for Miami, and they will have Taysom Hill run wild. The pick, who dat? Sunday Night Football. Vikings at the Packers. A division game played out in the cold, frozen tundra makes for good television. Some people don't like it. I love it.
I'm so cold that I'm shivering.
I can't see Minnesota winning this game. However, based on their track record on winning when they absolutely have to. No Adam Thielen. Huge. Dalvin Cook will be back. Justin Jefferson, top 3 receiver. He'll have a good day as well. But the NFL runs through Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. As you saw last Saturday with that BS call, the Packers should have lost that game. That was a gift, my friends. Now, they're just going to outscore the Vikings in this one. They're going to get the necessary calls to do so. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be for Minnesota. They don't know who the quarterback's going to be for Minnesota. The Packer run game's going to be huge in this one. Jones, Dillon, and you guys know nobody can guard Devontae Adams. And despite having a porous defense, the Packers will make up for it with the MVP in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the MVP. I stopped fighting it. We all know they're not going to give it to JT. So just accept it as such. It's like Biden being president. There's nothing you can do about it. Accept it. This is just what the Packers do in December in Lambeau, folks. And if you listen, sidebar, if you've never been to Lambeau Field, you're missing out. You call yourself a football fan and you've never been to a game in Green Bay, book a ticket before you eat another meal. It is nostalgic. I digress. They win at home in December. The Vikings' playoff hopes are dead. Dead as fried chicken, despite Kirk Cousins having a decent year, and now he is out. The pick, the Green Bay Packers. Next, Monday Night Football. Browns at the Squealers. The Browns are a good team with a lousy quarterback. It's just that simple. I can name 30 quarterbacks who are better than Baker Mayfield right now. We can go at it, mano a mano, come on the show. We can debate this till I'm blue in the face. Baker Mayfield is the biggest fraud in the National Football League. And if you in Cleveland pay him, Cleveland brass, I hope you're listening. if you pay this fool, you might as well take that money and burn it. Now, the Steelers are a good, undisciplined team with a quarterback who should have retired 2 years ago. Kansas City destroyed Pittsburgh, and now they are limping home to take on the Browns and Baker Mayfield, who got robbed by the refs versus Green Bay on Saturday. Now, Pittsburgh was embarrassed at home versus Cleveland to end their season last year. Don't forget that. Don't forget how the Steelers ended their season last year in embarrassing fashion to this team. Okay? There is no way Pittsburgh loses this game for a number of reasons. Mike Tomlin should run the wheels off Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson, and I fully expect a steel curtain-type performance from that defense. They play much better at home. Baker Mayfield is horrible and continues to play his way out of a big contract. I see the box getting stacked versus Nick Chubb, and the Steelers get the revenge they are looking for. With one of the best rosters in the NFL, you just cannot trust the Cleveland Browns in this spot, and Baker Mayfield is why. Guys, imagine Cleveland with Russell Wilson for a second. Can you imagine that? That team can go to the Super Bowl. The pick is the Steelers. And I want to take a second and I want to honor Big Ben. I'm not a Big Ben fan. You know, I know some people have some issues with some of the off-the-field rape accusations and all that. I don't care about that. I care about what this guy did on the field. Ben Roethlisberger is an absolute NFL legend, and he deserves his flowers. I think he's every bit as good as Eli Manning, and they give Eli Manning a farewell tour. And you know what they gave Big Ben? They gave him an ex-wife's watch and said, sail off into the future. You cannot tell me for a second that they're not going to win this game for Ben. And I know Ben should have retired, and I know Ben is old, and Ben is fat. The guy's got a sandwich named after him in one of the greatest football cities in America. 2 Super Bowls, folks. Don't forget. Don't forget who took down that mighty Patriots team in one of the best regular season games I've ever seen as a rookie. Big Ben was a stud in college. 6'6". People have such selective memories. It's all about what have you done for me lately, but don't forget about what this guy did. This guy brought Pittsburgh Steelers football back to relevance, and he deserves his just due. So on behalf of World of Matchups, Ben, if you are listening, we wish you well in retirement. You have definitely gotten a raw deal. Your offensive line absolutely sucks. The Rooneys did not take care of you the way they needed to, and I know you did some dirt on the low, but let's be honest, all of us have at some point. You just got caught out there. Good luck in retirement. Good luck to you this weekend. I hope you smash Cleveland. All right. I'm fired up. I love doing this. This is orgasmic for me. If it's not orgasmic for you, don't watch this show because this ain't that. Stephen A. Smith, this ain't that. This ain't Colin Cowherd who flip-flops every 2 seconds.
The Booger McFarlanes of the world.
This is real, unadulterated, uncut, unstepped on, passionate football talk here at World of Matchups, here at Grab It Television in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we're about to continue with our game of the week when we welcome in my man, 50 grand, Kansas City Chief fan and local, Mr. Jesse Bourne, also known as Mr. Huckleberry. My name is Dexter Reed. We're going to pay some bills, and on the flip side, we're going to break down what should be the best game in the NFL this season. You're watching World of Matchups. See you on the flip. Welcome back to the program, everyone. Before we venture into our Game of the Week and special guests, we must welcome in our Game of the Week sponsor for the entire season, Miss Stacey Harrison of Felony Fitness. Folks, Felony Fitness isn't for the faint of heart. Felony Fitness promotes solely the 4 F's: no fear, no forgiveness, no failure, and no false hopes. Those who say whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger be patient because they are coming back around to finish the job. Felony fitness now, felony fitness forever. Game of the week time at World of Matchups, folks, and I'm fired up to bring you a good friend of mine, special guest, first time on the show, and Kansas City Chief fan extraordinaire. Ladies and gentlemen, to help me break down the Chiefs heading to Cincinnati to play in what's going to be a hotly contested game, welcome in Las Vegas native, Mr. Jesse Bourne. Jesse, welcome to World of Matchups, bro. We appreciate having you on.
Absolute pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So, first things first, Chiefs are hot. So is Cincinnati. When I look at the Cincinnati Bengals, I see the Kansas City Chiefs. I almost feel like we'd have to play a game against ourselves this week. Your thoughts on how they look on offense?
I really think that the offensive line is coming into their own because they're trying to slow down the offense a little bit and run the ball and play some short ball due to the two deep safety sets. So I think that really falls into the strength of that offensive line. So that I think that's the key is to just keep playing what the defense gives them. And that's I think Mahomes is starting to learn that and to adapt to that and have the patience to actually take time to move the chains down the field. And that's what they're doing is first down.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key is just keep that run game going. We really haven't seen the full effect of a true play action pass on the run game with Mahomes because of those two deep safety sets. Once we continue to keep running the ball like that and playing that short game, that second safety is going to have to come up and come into the box. And once that happens, it becomes play action with Mahomes. We haven't really seen a true play action game with Mahomes yet. And I think that's going to be exciting coming in the future.
Yeah, you haven't seen it all season long. I think a lot of us, we're spoiled because we're not seeing the Patrick Mahomes that we've seen in the past because a lot of teams are playing that cover too deep. And so, like you said, paper cuts work same as a stabbing. 7 points are 7 points, and I kind of like what they're doing, running the ball and controlling the clock. We won't have CEH this week, but I think Darrell Williams is more than serviceable, and I like what they're doing with Gore. Now, boy, Cincinnati is loaded, and their quarterback scares me. Joe Burrow is a really good quarterback. Spencer sent me a text the other day. He said Joe Burrow is built different. And I completely believe that. This guy has done nothing but win his whole career, and he has turned a losing franchise into winners pretty quickly. Now he's got a lot of weapons. My question to you is, on defense, what do the Chiefs need to do to stop Joe Burrow? Because you know he's going to get his.
This is true. I think the biggest mistake that the Chiefs did this year was put Chris Jones, the defensive end. He does not belong out there. He was a complete wash. So by moving him into the inside, that actually increased the play potential on two different positions of the defensive end by bringing in Ingram. Now we've got some pressure on the outside. Frank Gore's coming around, but moving Chris Jones into the interior of the defensive line, interior quarterback pressure on the defensive line is huge. So we've actually improved two positions on the defensive line just by making one move and bringing Chris Jones onto the inside. And now Frank Clark is coming around.
Yeah, finally.
So that's the key. That is 100% of the key of the defense for the Chiefs is quarterback pressure. Mm-hmm. And you see what it's done. It's made the entire defense better. The cornerbacks are getting on the ball. They're able to make jumps on the ball. The linebackers, they're flying around the field now because they're not getting swallowed up by the offensive linemen. The defensive linemen are taking up those blocks, so it's leaving those linebackers free to fly around. And you'll see on the defense now lately, since we're having the quarterback pressures, you're seeing these running backs get tackled by 4 or 5 Chiefs at one time, and that's the key is the defensive pressure. So I believe this game is gonna come down to the defensive ends, Clark, Ingram, and then Chris Jones firing up the gap. Yeah. So that's what's gonna dictate this game right here.
I agree.
100%.
You know, the game is won in the trenches, and boy, the one thing that I like about Steve Spagnuolo is that he likes to fire up the blitz. He dials it up, and he dials it up coming from a lot of different places, even from the safety position. I mean, you'll see Snead and Honey Badger back there, and that's how you beat a good quarterback. Problem with the blitz is that he's got these weapons, man. You know, Jamar Chase is an absolute house on fire. We broke down T. Higgins a couple minutes ago. This guy's 50-50 ball. He's coming down with it. You know, even a guy like C.J. Uzoma is deadly in the middle of the field. But the one person that I'm really worrying about more than anyone else in this game on Sunday is Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is one of 2 running backs in the National Football League with 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Joe Mixon's my favorite running back. I've always loved Joe Mixon. I thought he was great in college, and he's been great in the pros. And he's a chain mover. He's a yard eater, can catch the ball out of the backfield, can run between the tackles. The guy's staying healthy this year. And this game kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you're going to remember this, but I remember this like it was yesterday. The year is 2003. The 2003 Trent Green Kansas City Chiefs are 9-0. And they head to Cincinnati, who was like 4-5. And everybody was like, the Chiefs are going to smoke. They're going to smoke them. They're going to smoke Cincinnati. And Cincinnati was fired up. When I tell you they were fired up, Cincinnati was ready to run through a wall. This is the Peter Warrick year. Peter Warrick was a rookie. Chad Johnson was there. John Kitna was quarterback. And they punched the Chiefs in the mouth. The Chiefs were not ready to play this game. And I hope they remember this game like fans like me remember this game. Because this is going to be the kind of atmosphere that the Chiefs are about to walk into. They're going to be ready. The Chiefs are going to get everyone's best shot. Your thoughts on stopping Joe Mixon?
I'm not really too scared on Mixon, to be honest with you. When it comes to these strong running backs and they're doing their game preparations on the defensive war rooms here, they know they're going against tough running backs, and this goes like when we talked about Derrick Henry. They know that they had to focus on that guy. When they know they have to focus on a certain running back, and they're going to make you throw the ball, that's what they're going to do. And I think now that they can trust their pass rush and their quarterback pressures from the line, I think that they're going to be able to concentrate on that run to stop that run, because that's the key for the Chiefs defense is they need to stop the run and get into third and long situations. Because once they get into third and you got to pass the ball, that's where the Chiefs defense shines, because they know they can put their hair back and just and go for that quarterback. So I'm not too concerned about Mixon in this game. I'm more concerned about the pass rush, because that's where it's all going to lead to.
Yeah.
Long third downs and get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
We need Chris Jones, we need Frank Clark and Ingram to step up, and then let's hope that Spags doesn't get too crazy if the blitzes. The all-out blitzes. That's what I'm concerned about. That's the only thing about Spags' blitz calls is when he gets a little bit overzealous and starts calling too many all-out blitzes. Yeah. That's when we can get in trouble with quarterbacks like Burrow.
Yeah, those jailbreaks, man.
Yeah,
it leaves a lot of uncovered field.
Yeah, those have to be on certain occasions and not too often where they think you're going to do it every time, because all of a sudden you hit a running back like Mixon on a jailbreak blitz on a screen.
He's gone.
You're in deep trouble.
Yeah, he's gone. With Honey Badger being the only guy back there, and then he's undersized. That's not his game, is tackling a big-time running back like that. So I love what you're saying. I love the fact that Kansas City has, despite COVID, despite injuries, despite the freaking Easter Bunny, they have just continued to win. The streak is now at 8. We're looking at 9. Me, personally, I think if the Chiefs win this game, I don't see them losing again this season. This is like a tune-up Super Bowl for Kansas City, and they are getting everybody back. Nick Bolton should be back. Willie Gay will be out there. Those 2 linebackers are very underrated, and I see them stealing one. I've been calling for a Harrison Butker game winner all year long, and it just hasn't come to fruition. I think this is the week. I see the Chiefs winning this game by 3 at the gun. Some Mahomes magic to get into field goal range. 24-21, Kansas City final. I think more defense is played in this game than people are going to expect. Your thoughts and your prediction on the final score?
I think that the Chiefs aren't going to be slowed down on offense. I think they're going to put up at least 35 points. I believe that the defense is going to step up here. So I'm calling Chiefs 35, Bengals 24.
Nice. I like it. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be one of the most hotly contested games. A lot of people are going to be expecting a lot of offense in this game because there's weapons all over the field. This chessboard is just filled with firepower. I think there's going to be more defense played than people think. Whether you guys want to believe it or not, the Kansas City Chiefs right now are a defensive-minded team. That's just a fact. That's just how it is, and I think you're going to see it on Sunday. We want to thank you for coming on, man. Happy New Year. Welcome to World of
Happy
Matchups,
New
bro.
Year.
We thank you for repping us so hard. Jesse is our #1 top fan online. We appreciate all the support. We appreciate everything that you're doing, and we look forward to having you on as well. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Grab It Television, World of Matchups, our friend Jesse Bourne. Let's give him a hand. Thanks, man. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, folks. Boy, that was fun. I just love talking about football, especially my team. But we're not done because we got to go over who we're taking this week, okay? Our picks for the week. World of Matchups is taking, like I just said, our Kansas City Chiefs, the Touchdown Titans, the Buffalo Bills, the Patriots, the Colts, the Buccaneers, the Rams, Fly Eagles Fly, the Bears, the San Diego Superchargers. My best bet is San Francisco at home versus the Houston Texans. I love the Cowboys. The Lions upset special on the road with a no-name quarterback. It don't matter. The Saints, the Packers, and Big Ben's swan song will be the Steelers. We thank you for watching. Just remember that we're everywhere on social media, like we mentioned earlier, so don't get left out in the cold wishing you knew what information is what. Log in to grabit.com. It's free. Sign up. Find us at our YouTube page. Subscribe. And we're everywhere else. Like us. Follow us. Show us some love. And we'll show some in return. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Spencer the Wiz, Grab It Television, my name is Dexter Reed, and you have been watching the most comprehensive, progressive, and uncensored television show to hit the big screen this year. You have been watching World of Matchups. Happy New Year, everybody. No drinking, no driving. We'll see you next year. Peace.